What's up, Liron here, and today I'm giving you a tour of my Moleskine sketchbook. As you can see here, this is the Moleskine. I think it says it here somewhere. And here's one of my favorite, by the way, sketches here. I worked on this one mainly when I was in Paris in 2017, but also a bit here in Israel. And the main message for me to you is, if you look at this, you can see the improvement I've gone through, and I want this to encourage you. Because if you do paint consistently and you really try and work at it and tackle different techniques and different subjects, and you are proactive about improving, you will. And this is the proof. You're going to see a lot of sketches that I messed up or that I don't like as much. And it really goes to show you, just with practice and perseverance, you do improve. Okay, so let's get started. So first I'm going to show you this side of the sketchbook and then the other side, because I don't want to constantly be moving it. So before we even get started, I have these couple of paintings that I did on separate pages, but I did put them here so I don't lose them. And those have become an essential part of this sketchbook, an integral, part of this sketchbook. So they're part of it for in any way, shape, or form. This is a painting, and I'm going to start again with this side, then go over this side. This is actually a painting I did following a tutorial by Patrick ley-greaves of Pure Watercolor here on YouTube. He has an amazing watercolor channel that I highly recommend you check out. And he's one of the first people from whom I learned to use a lot of colors and a variety of them, which is really, really cool. This is a view also from Paris, the suburbs of Paris, just a couple of buildings. I believe this may be a school, though I don't remember. I actually did a quite good job at it. I remember I saw this view from a window of a third floor, or a second floor rather, and I just painted it there on the window edge. So again, this side I'm going to show you in just a few moments. This is a painting that you may be familiar with from my video on how to prepare for a painting, because I did a lot of preparatory sketches here, and I'm really pleased with how this tree turned out, especially compared to the background. Notice how beautiful there is this change in values, and also the tree itself. I love the way it turned out. And again, this is a Moleskine sketchbook. I'm not a big fan of the Moleskine watercolor sketchbooks. They aren't as good as they're being praised to be. They're fine, they're decent, better than others, no doubt. But it is a bit challenging to control the paint. So I have a lot of mess ups. Like this one, I felt like I completely messed up. You may disagree, but the values are off. It's all off, and I love it. You know, it's a sign of where I was back then. We have this one as well that I didn't like initially, but the more I looked at it, I decided I actually do like it. A bunch of people, and if you remember, this is from my video series. I believe it was 2 videos on how to sketch and paint people in pen and ink. This was really well received. I think a lot of people enjoyed these. Some more people as a part of that very same video. One of my favorites is this one, and this one as well. This is due to the background and the white shirt and how they contrast. And this one just, I think it looks good. And I think I was able to really capture the gestures of the people here, so that makes me happy. Now, I remember I got the Schminke paints for the first time. I used them in Paris, actually. So here I just tested them out, some of them. There are a couple of exercises I'll show you in just a moment. A couple of still lives here. This you may remember from my video on, I think it was perspective drawing, and I don't remember if it's this very same process, or I probably used a different sketch, but this is just, I painted that very same scene. Here, I really love the way this turned out, and I don't remember the picture I worked from, but I don't know, I just think it looks good, and it was a predecessor to what I'm doing now. It was a bit looser than my works back at that time. It was a better sense of simplification that I really enjoy. So I got lucky with this one, basically, is what I'm saying. Here, just practicing my brush skills, so how to get a thin line and then thick line, depending on how you press on the brush and so on. Some more practices, values, the blending edges, blossoms, and using them. There's a bunch of stuff here I practiced. Here I did some compositional studies of scenes that I later sketched and painted. I just wanted to make sure that I get an interesting composition before I actually paint the thing. Some sketches from views from Paris. There are a couple of really beautiful ones. And just a couple of pages that I can't wait to show you. Actually, I think you'll love them. This, if you remember, I did a YouTube tutorial on. I painted this scene twice. one here and one on my Legion Stonehenge paper that I used back then that I really love actually. So this was the Moleskine version, which was actually, I liked it even more than the more finalized piece in some senses. I don't know, the sky here with all of the blossoms, it actually looks like clouds. It's a very unique look. The color scheme is very unique. I don't usually go for these kinds of things. I love the different effects on the chimneys and the shadows. I just think it works well. Foreground's a little empty. This is something I learned to better do later, maybe a year or two later. Just recently I'm starting to figure that stuff out. But in any case, that. Here I tried some new color mixes. It actually says practicing some new color mixes. So from June 2017. This was beautiful. This is like the ultramarine, burnt sienna, yellow ochre. I actually painted this scene, and you may have seen it with this color combination. Some more people. Okay, just wanted to practice capturing their movement and gesture. Pretty good for when for where I was there back then in terms of skills. If you remember, I did a collaboration with Denise from In Liquid Color. This is me practicing because she sent me a sketch of a seahorse. So I practiced a couple of them just to get ready to do her painting, because I sent her a sketch, she sent me a sketch, and we painted each other's sketches. This I messed up completely with the water, and it all bled into one another in a bad way. This is a preparation for a YouTube tutorial. You can actually find the full piece here on YouTube. Just a couple of fun sketches. I think I did these while on the phone. And some other preparations for Denise's sketch. I really didn't want to mess it up, so I decided to do a couple of these in my sketchbook just to make sure I know what I'm doing and only then approach the real deal. Same, just I practiced my new Pilux pen. I forgot the name. It's like a nib pen. Back then I bought it, and I don't remember its name, but it was a nice one. Sketch from Paris, the classic Parisian, I don't know, houseman you'd call it, style. I really like it. This is actually back in Israel. So this is a building in the Boulevard, Rothschild Boulevard. I painted, sketched it a bazillion times. You've probably seen this building many times in the past in different shape or form. These are sketches for my Sketching People Masterclass course. I really like how these turned out, and I show the entire process. I think some of them are for my Sketching People book as well. It's kind of a mix. And I think here the sketchbook ends. Let me flip it and show you the other side. So here we're going back to the beginning, and if you remember, I showed you this one. So now we have this. Just did a monochromatic study of the scene in different light and shadow situations. I don't even know why I used this strong of a red color. But I was trying out a lot of things back then. Here are the preparations for that painting I just showed you with the church. Did a lot of preparations for this one. Tried the tree out, tried the different color combinations, this small part here. Just made sure that I'm familiar with the scene. Here is the preparation for the other scene I showed you. I really like this. This looks great. Also, this window I think looks really good. I wasn't able to convey all of that in the painting. As you can see here, previously you've seen it's not really that good. But the process taught me a lot, and that's something important. You always get dividends from the learning how to do the process properly, even if the result isn't as good. Here we have this prep sketch for the other one that I showed you. This is just my attempt. I remember nothing went my way. I was a bit angry actually, and I decided I'm gonna just sketch something that's horrendous and not care about the result at all. And funny enough, it ended up being quite cool looking, I think. I got, the paper got buckled, and this is the valleys actually, and then the paint stayed in the valley and created this awkward blossom. That happens from time to time, especially again with the Moleskine. Sketch I did of a Porsche, I believe. I don't remember the exact model, or maybe a Ferrari, I don't know. I'm really bad with cars. But I also did a pen sketch of this one, if you remember. I have a YouTube video and also a Udemy course actually on this one. This is a painting in which it's a small sketch, as you can see, really small, but I really outdid myself. This wasn't my level back then. I think this achieved a very high level of realism, especially if you take a few steps back, it will look really, really good. And I got lucky, and you get these lucky breaks, and that shows you what is possible, and then you're able to achieve this level, and then you look at it and you're like, now everything I do looks like this, almost at least, and so that's really cool. Another sketch I did on location, set there somewhere in the suburbs of Paris, and sketched this. This took a long time. Really cared about the details here. And it's funny because now I see it and I can tell that I improved a lot since, and I would have done it a bit better now, but this was really good for back then. Practicing values with my Van Gogh paints, mostly old Van Goghs and one Cotman. Just trying to, this is a good exercise actually, you just do 5 values. You try to start the lightest, then a little dark, a little dark, a little dark, and then the darkest you can. It's a nice, decent exercise to try out. It also makes you better familiar with your paints. What do we have here? I believe this is another study of a Patrick ley-greaves process, one of his favorites, one of my favorites of his. I think I did a really good job here. The negative painting could have been better. It really goes to show you how you improve and you don't even notice. This shadow should be darker. I noticed all sorts of mistakes that I would have never been able to tell back then. So yeah, these again, I told you the Schminke paints, so I tried out a couple of combinations, and you can see like blossoms are unavoidable in this kind of a sketchbook, where the paint stays on top. It's really a pulp paper. It's not really I think it may be cotton, but it's very different from the real high quality 100% cotton paper that you use. It's good for on location works. I did some blending exercises, some glazing exercises, testing out, I forgot this paint, I think it is, yeah, indigo. Glazed indigo over different paints and try to figure out the result. This was really cool. This is a brushwork exercise in which I tried filling in the areas as accurately as I could, but holding the brush at the very tip. So what happens is you really have to improve your control over the brush. And compared to back then, my control today is much better. Now let's see what else we have here. This I did on location as well. Beautiful building that was in renovations, and I'm really happy with the result. I think it shows and again, today I would have done it much better, a much better job at this. But back then, this was a really good result for me, and it still is. You know, it's still pretty good. Just some people, ballerinas, gestures. You can see here. This was really nice. I love the way these turned out here. You know, sometimes the quickest, smallest sketches end up being the most interesting in some ways, which is why I love looking at sketchbooks. Some more practicing the preparatory sketches for this scene that I showed you earlier. Some more people, together with the other side that I did some others. It was very hard on the pencil back then. This is a preparation I did for a YouTube video that I didn't end up posting because I didn't like the result, so I just shredded the video, quote unquote. But I'm happy with what it taught me. Let's see what else we have here. This I did on location. I forgot the place, but it's close to a museum. I really forgot it, but I sketched with a friend there that I just met through Instagram, and then this is one of the things I did. We sat inside a cafe, and then I did it. Now, and looked outside. Now, sometimes you may not like the whole sketch, but then you find one place that you really like. So for me, it's this corner of the painting, top left. I really love this, especially these shadows and this diagonal shadow. I love how these turned out. This not so much, but still it's pretty good, I would say. It's not bad. Some other extreme brush grip exercises. Preparation for Denise's painting. I actually wrote down the colors I'll be using and all sorts of things here. Another one, I did quite a lot of these. This is a preparation for a tutorial on I think a village in Germany painting process. You can actually find it on YouTube. It also has its own playlist of 3 parts. So that's really cool. I just did a preparation here. I used the Moleskine to prepare for paintings as well. This is another one, and notice the difference. Here it was a bit smaller, a bit quicker, and now it's just a tiny bit larger, and I tried playing around with a bit of a different composition for this one. I actually like this a lot. Let's see what else. We have just a motorcycle. This was in one of my last days in Paris. I did a couple of these quick sketches with my Plumix. Plumix, that's the name of the nib pen. Pilot Plumix, a very cheap and simple one, but did the job while I was there. This is already in Israel. This is on Rothschild Boulevard, as always. This is in the southern part of it, really close to its start, actually, to Rothschild 1. So I like this building a lot. There's a lot of beautiful old buildings there. Bauhaus and all sorts. Here I didn't do anything, it's just the other side, and I think, yeah, with that we're done with this sketchbook. So I'm gonna try and find an interesting page to open here. This one's good. I really hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour. As you can see, I started with watercolor from nothing really. With sketching I had some basis, but watercolor I started from zero, and this is like my more advanced sketchbook. If you go even more back, you'll find things that were even simpler, even with tons of mistakes. And you know, we all start somewhere. Don't worry about it. Start where you are and slowly build up and improve. I want to wish you a lot of good luck on your watercolor journey, and now we'll wrap up this video really fast. So I just want to thank you so much for watching. I decided to open it up in this page with, I think, the best work here. I really hope you enjoyed seeing me flip through this, and I hope the message speaks to you. Really, you just start somewhere and then you slowly build up your skills and improve, and before you notice, you're like, whoa, I'm that good. So keep at it, and don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, because that really helps YouTube know to show it to more people because you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you have any question, and subscribe because I have tons of other sketchbook tours, painting processes, sketching processes, whatever you may be interested in. And with that being said, I will talk to you again in another vid real soon.